Hi. I'm Sonia, and this is my podcast on which I talk about movies, film industry, and filmmaking with different filmmakers all around the world.
My new guest today is Imogen Anderson, a young film director who recently made a movie Wildfire. It's about young queer couple must navigating and changing the world while experiencing unusual changes of their own during the outbreak of mysterious virus. And soon it's about to come out. In this episode, we discuss the scare of starting the new project, her movie Wildfire, all the things behind the scene, the changing of the post-apocalyptic genre, self-indication in film industry nowadays, and the comeback of the movie theater culture.
Hope you're gonna love it. Enjoy watching. Hi everyone, so today with me is amazing Imogen Anderson. She's a film director and filmmaker, and as I understand, scriptwriter too.
Yeah, I dabble a little bit, yeah.
Cinemo. So I have a question that I ask everyone, like the first one is how you understood that you want to make movies and you want to be in this industry.
I feel like originally I wanted to act, so I wanted to be an actress, and I did drama a lot. And there was like this weekend club I did to get into drama, and one of the classes they did was film and TV, and we had to like record things just on an iPad. And that was the first time I was like, whoa, that's really interesting, seeing how you need to think about how stuff edits together and how you visually tell a story. And just from that, I started paying more attention to films. And instead of being like, oh, this is a good film, I was like, how do they make that and how do they get into it? So it's kind of more like a slow thing. And then I also think with acting as well, it was a bit stressful. And like, I preferred a lot more to like do the directing and like help people get to the performance. And yeah, I surprised myself because I was always going to go to like a drama school. And when it came time to pick out unis, I just thought, maybe I should try film production and see what that's like. And yeah, so it's pretty random.
Well, that's actually cool. But do you think like to maybe return someday to acting?
Maybe. I think there was a time during my first year, everyone had to act in other people's films because you couldn't find like any proper actors to come into it. And I remember feeling so stressed out because I was looking at the camera and I feel like looking at everyone. And so it's made me get like such a huge respect for actors because there's so much to do. And I think maybe I could get back into it a little. When we do test shoots, I act a bit, but I don't know how they do it. I'm straight in the camera like.
Yeah, it's true. It's really scary. Like I remember I've been acting a little, and I was always stressed about what if I'm gonna mess up everything. So sometimes I really like to act, or I love it, but for me it's a lot more natural to be in the crew. I think.
Yeah, definitely. It is a lot. It's really, I guess, vulnerable to be up in front of people. But I would like to get back into it, just do some classes because I think it's important to kind of understand what actors go through so I can help them more. So yeah. I think maybe I'll try it a bit more.
I think it's also important for you as a director as you work with actors a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. When we did our directing module at uni, most of it was just us taking like acting classes. So it was a 3-hour like lecture kind of thing. So for the first hour, a director would come in and tell us about themselves and their films, and then for the rest of it they would put on workshops where we'd have to like act and improv and perform in front of other people. And I think it was really important because I don't know, it's helped me empathize a lot with actors because it is really vulnerable and it is difficult to take that direction sometimes, because I think before as a director you kind of just expect actors to get exactly what you mean and you're not saying anything helpful. And so it's good to see like the flip side of like, oh, it's actually more important for me to understand my relationships with the other performers. It's important for me to know where my character's just been and what I want as a character, instead of being told, be more sad because it doesn't come from anywhere. So it is really useful.
What do you think is the most important in the work with actors as a director?
I think the most important is getting to know them. I've not directed loads of films, but my last one with Wildfire, I think it was what I see as like my best process so far. And you always learn from your actors. So knowing what they need from you. And I think for me, I like to give them a lot of freedom. I like them to read the script and we go through it together. And I'll ask them like, what do you think your character is wanting in this moment? And maybe giving them some questions to bring that through. Like, what do I want? What do I need to do to get what I want? And things like that. And sometimes actors like really surprise you and they'll want to change the dialogue a bit. I think it's important to understand, especially when you're someone who's helped to write the script and written bits of the dialogue, you can't get too committed to it. You need to be able to let it change as it wants to. So if your performer comes to you and is like, this line doesn't, it doesn't fit what I want and what my goal is for this scene. And you have to be like, oh yeah, you're totally right. How would you change it? So I learned a lot from my actors on the last film of just, they know the character more than I ever will, even if it's a character that I wrote, that because they become that character and I'm simply just like, maybe this character's a bit like me in this way, but they make it their complete own. So I think the most important thing is getting to know them and how they see the character, and it's the best way to do it, and not to ever tell them no. So if they want to try something, don't be like, that's not how I saw it in my head, because it can change the scene and make it completely better. So it's like, definitely need to work on that relationship with like a really good back and forth kind of thing.
It's really true. Like, I don't know. I think the most important for an actor is to like understand a character, and that really can help a script, because if there are some like as you said, this line don't match my goal, it means that definitely they really do understand what they're doing on set.
Definitely.
Yes, because in my opinion, in movies, everyone is important. And everyone can make something really good, because if you only say like, it's that's what I want and I don't care about your opinion, you won't have a good project, because actors, for example, they have a really good chance to develop the character.
Yeah, I agree, especially when you're in uni or you're just in a group of friends. They're not doing it for money. And especially actors, like maybe if you're lucky, you can travel expenses, but a lot of the time you can't pay them. And so if you're not working on all of it together and it's not something you all love, then why are you doing it? Like, if you're doing it like for fun as a passion project and you don't have that love for it, even like a runner or like someone you've brought in to be a driver, if they don't have the passion for it, then what's the point in them getting involved? It's meant to be something really fun. And I think that's the most important part. And I know I get myself stressed, like more stressed out than I need to be. But I always have to think it's a film. But the whole point of it is for people to watch it and enjoy it and think, oh, maybe this character's a bit like me, or just, oh, the cinematography is really cool, the music's good. And it's just meant to like bring joy to people. So I don't think there's any point in yelling at each other or getting really stressed out.
Absolutely. I think like in sets, unfortunately, sometimes there can be like a little nervous, everyone, so there could be a little bit of shouting to each other and something like that. But if it's a little bit like in friendly way, not in hating each other, then I think it's also can be good. Like there you understand too that everybody thinks that this project is important and wants the best for this project, and not doing it just for, I don't know, I want money, or I don't know, like something like that. I think it's important. But I really wanted to ask about your movie. Like, as I understood, it's like a dystopian movie or something like post-apocalypse.
Yeah, so it's about the outbreak of a mysterious virus. Because we want it to be really from the viewpoint of the characters. So the apocalypse that starts is very much the backdrop, and it's a bit confusing and we don't get what's going on because we're from their perspective. And the apocalypse kind of forces our characters, Jen and Bella, to look more into their relationship with each other. And yeah, I found that really interesting. So I love apocalypse films. I love zombies. They're my favorite. And I found it interesting when like helping develop the script, how much it kind of was in the background. Because I think in such extreme circumstances like an apocalypse or like natural disaster films like that, it really forces the characters to have rapid character growth and think, well, we don't know how much longer we have, so we kind of need to address these things right now. And I think that's the most interesting part and fun part for me about Wildfire and Jen and Bella, is that they're so in love with each other that like this apocalypse is kind of like in the background, and it's like, it forces them to see how important their time together is. So it is like apocalyptic, but it's more of a queer drama and a bit of romance as well.
And is there some movies, as you said, you love like zombies and something like that? Is there some movies that influence your project? Not maybe apocalypses, but maybe some drama.
Yeah, definitely. There's this film called Cargo, and it's an Australian film, and it was a short film originally, and it did really well at festivals, and they made it into a full film with Netflix, I think. And it's similar, it's like during an apocalypse, kind of like the zombie-esque outbreak, but it's about this father trying to find someone to look after his daughter. And so it's just like, that really inspired me of their relationship and their dynamic, and the Last of Us series as well, because I love the games. And so it was fun to be able to reference the series a lot when we were pitching it. And then also just like for romance and dramas, like Call Me By Your Name, but for the intimacy of it and how it's like we're just focused on these two characters and we're using a lot of cinematography to show how they feel. And it's a lot about what they don't say as well, because there's a bit, spoilers, where they get split up in the film. And I think it's a lot about them going through these individual journeys and how that lets them get closer together. So that was a big inspiration. I took a bit of inspiration from Interstellar as well, which I know seems a bit far removed. But while I was developing the idea, I watched Interstellar for the first time. I only watched for the first time last year, so I was really late to it. And the whole theme of like the transcendence of love and that being the main thing, even though you have this huge sci-fi storyline going on. And so stuff that really had like a good heart to it. And I feel like with all things, when you look back on a film you've made, you probably think about things you could have changed or added in to like make it more emotional. I think I would have like just anything to show the heart of the story a lot in their relationship. But yeah, I rambled, but those are the inspiration.
As I'm understood, like it's not released yet?
No, so we're actually nearly finished the final cut. I'm sure when this is out, the film will be finished. And we're gonna go to some festivals first, and some festivals, you can't have posted it online yet. So we'll have to see with the ones we submit to if we can, but it should be coming out pretty soon. It's difficult once everyone has like graduated from uni, and so now you're like all across the country trying to like still work on the same film. So it's been a bit difficult just getting everyone at like in the same group chat at the same time. But it's going really well, and it's nearly finished, and we're just like literally tidying up some of the credits and stuff like that.
And what festivals do you think you will go to?
I've not really started looking yet, but we're hoping to go to a lot of queer film festivals, just because we'd love to like network with other queer filmmakers and see their films. And I don't know, I feel like there could be a really good audience for the film. I just want people to be able to relate to it. So we'll definitely prioritize going to festivals like that. And then we might go to a few BAFTA qualifying ones, see if we get in. But
I hope you go to. It sounds amazing.
I've never gone to film festivals before, and like I've never submitted to any, so it's definitely a big learning experience and exciting to try and like get everything together to send it off. And I just hope that if it gets accepted or not, or if we post it on YouTube, I just hope some people see it that can really relate to it and really enjoy the film.
I think there are gonna be a lot of people who gonna enjoy it as now, like as you say it, for example, Last of Us, like it's so popular. Like, maybe it's kind of embarrassing, but I've never saw The Last of Us. I'm really scared of zombies. I don't watch movies like that, but I know a lot of people, just from my friends, for example, who absolutely adore it.
It is the series is pretty scary. Well, I tried my mum, she couldn't do it.
I have a friend, and she been playing games. She been watching a show, and every time we've been meeting, she's like, "I'm gonna tell you literally the whole episode, like from the beginning to the end." And I was like, "Okay, yeah."
my friend watching it, and after the episode, they'd be like, "Okay, go back on your game and show me the episodes." And like, I'd play it through absolutely.
But I think what you're right about is that it's really like for the movies like that, characters have rapid development because for like this is the most important for the relationship, and I think that's why the romance is like one of the best genre to combine with it.
Yeah, definitely, because I think the characters, Jen and Bella, they have some things they want to talk about in their relationship, but they never feel like it's the right time. They don't know how to bring it up. I think Jen, especially her character, she isn't very good at being more vulnerable, so she's trying to find every way to show that side to Bella without saying it, which obviously isn't going to work because you need communication. And so this outbreak, I think it kind of forces them to kind of release all of that and any doubts they have, because there's not time for it. Everything in the film happens so quickly. And I think it definitely forces them to think, it's, you know, all these things we were holding back for, it's not that serious when you see what's happening. And it forces them to have those conversations. And I think that's one of my favorite parts about that kind of genre of like apocalyptic films, zombie films, anything like that. It kind of forces you to think, well, everything's gone. There's no structure anymore. And all you have is the people around you. So it forces that growth and that conversation.
It's true. I think like for a little bit of time, like I think early 2000s and the 10s were this genre become more of see what CGI we have than really showing the characters and their stories. And I think now with so many movies, it have a comeback, like for showing their story instead of CGI.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like there's a lot more practical effects happening again. I feel like we've come back to it, which is really fun to see. And yeah, I think especially with Wildfire, a lot of it's hard to talk about saying all of the main things that we've like kind of hidden from our socials. But there's some bits in the film that have like a little bit of VFX that are tutors at uni were really nervous about, and they were like, we don't get how you're going to do that, like that's a big thing, like you guys don't know VFX, I don't know how you're going to do that. But I was like, we'll figure it out, it's not the main thing. Like obviously I wanted it to look good, but I just needed like little things to show the virus, kind of just to show time's running out, to show severity of the situation. But I think hopefully when you have the good performance, when you have the good characters, that's the main thing that shows. And so yeah, CGI, it can be really impressive, but I also feel like, wouldn't we rather just see what the characters are about and then add in a bit of CGI? You know, I feel like sometimes, like you were saying in the 2010s, there was like this big period, I think, where films were like, well, look at all these new things we can do. And it looked really cool, but you kind of walk out of it and you're like, I don't really know any of the characters, or I didn't feel attached. Like, it was an interesting film, but there's no connection there. And so I feel like now maybe we're kind of circling back, hopefully, to some films that like have the heart in them, with the CGI there to complement it, but it's not the main focus anymore.
Absolutely, yes. And I think like what you've been talking about when you didn't know about VFX, it's kind of remind me of I don't know if you know the story, but how VFX for Everything Everywhere All at Once were made.
Yeah, I'm still shook about it, but
Yes.
that all.
Like, I think when I've been, so, like, firstly, I haven't even watched this movie in the theaters because I thought, like, I don't know, I don't want to watch it, it's some stupid movie. I thought, firstly, but then I got that I absolutely wrong, and after watching it, I started to read about it a lot, and I think it's absolutely changed my opinion about movies because before I thought that you need, like, a big crew, a lot of, like, years, and you need the professionals to do a movie. And when I saw this, how, like, for example, the same with VFX, when they've been just searching in YouTube and then doing it together on Zoom, I was like, oh, that's how you can make an Oscar movie.
I know, it's so impressive. And I was exactly the same. I was thinking, and maybe it's a bit of imposter syndrome when you're like, well, why should I make these things? I don't have this huge crew. And seeing how they were able to teach themselves and they got these amazing people on their crew and these amazing actors is really inspiring. And you're totally right. It just shows, I feel like as long as you have the passion and you're willing to learn, and I think they were willing to make a lot of mistakes and really try everything out until they got there. It felt really nice also to see them get the credit they deserve for that and get Oscars. It was so cool. Like, I would love more of that because now we know you can do it. So yes. I'd love to see more of that.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. For me, it was like something like a hope core.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, and it's the same with actors because, like, I even had a little, like, article. I've been in a media class. It's like in Moscow schools. There's classes that do different jobs like journalism, cinematography, and different artistic jobs. And we've been doing articles, and I wrote about Kehu Kwan, because when I heard his story, I was like, he was a star, then become no one, and then he have an Oscar.
I know, seeing this all for him, I get so emotional whenever I see him speak or whenever he gets any award. Like, I feel so attached to him.
Yes, absolutely. But though maybe your movie will be qualified in festivals BAFTA?
Who knows?
Yes.
It would be nice.
I think it's gonna be a really good, like, for your movie. It sounds cool.
I hope people like it because honestly, the experience was so good. It's the best experience I've had working on a film. And it was the first time where on set, I was not stressed at all. Like, I just thought you had to be stressed to be on set. I thought that was part of it. And you just had to be a bit stressed. And I remember all through pre-production, like, it was really fun. But we were getting closer and closer to filming. And, like, locations were falling through. We didn't have extras. I was really stressed out, and then we had our first day on set, and I got there, and it was the most calm I felt the whole time. Just my crew, I could talk about my crew for ages, my casting crew. Like, they're so amazing that I could just trust them completely, and I didn't have to worry about things. Especially my DOPs. We had 2 DOPs, Phoebe David and Charlie Andrews, shout out, and they're amazing. And I just knew I could go up to them. And if they framed up a shot and there was just something I wasn't sure on, I could look at it and I could be like, and they'd be like, okay, just talk me through how the characters are feeling here. And so I tell them, I'd be like, so it needs to be framed, I don't know, a close-up, and they'd just be straight on it, and they would make it perfect every time. And so the experience was so fun. We got to try so many new things. So no matter how the film goes with, like, festivals or whatever, how it's received, it was the best time. And our actresses as well were so amazing, and it was their first time in a short film, and they were just so professional, so amazing. I couldn't believe it. It was Isabel Edwards and Jade Lauren, another shout out. And I can see them having great careers and getting into a lot of stuff.
And maybe it's too early to ask, but do you think maybe someday you will shoot with the actress and with the crew something more?
I would love to. I've already kind of started talking to some people because I think once you graduate, all of a sudden, because at my uni, we had we were able to use equipment there. So it was like we had a lot of privilege. We were able to use their equipment. It was really easy for us to make things. And as soon as you graduate, it's kind of like, well, I still have these ideas, but now I don't have the equipment. I don't have all these like people that can come collaborate with me. And so I was talking to Phoebe and I was like, okay, I want to try and make a short film every year. No matter how long a short is, I want to try and make one every year. And I would love to work with the crew again and the cast again where I can, definitely. I think that's the most important thing. Whether you go to uni or if you just get onto as many indie films as you can, it's all about making those connections with people that you know you love working with, that don't make it stressful, that really support you. I think that was the best thing about Wildfires, because I found so many people that I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to find another DP. I don't need to find another sound person. So I've already got the best. That's like the best thing. I hope to make loads of films with them if they want to make films with me.
It's really cool. I think it's always cool, like, to find people who you absolutely trust.
Yeah.
Especially on movies that... Did you wrote, like, Wildfire alone or with someone?
What? Sorry?
Did you wrote, like, the script alone for Wildfire or with someone?
Technically, I helped write some dialogue and I helped with the concept. It was my idea. Our writers were Aaron and Rachel. And so I was in... kind of every script meeting, kind of more, I was there for the viewpoint of the characters and kind of their arcs and helped in that way. But yeah, I have to give all the credit to them because I would not be able to write, like, to start a script and write that by myself. And I feel glad that I could come in sometimes, give some notes, write out some dialogue, and they just made it into something a lot more polished than I could.
But still, it's like you director, so it's not like you the most important part. As I said, everyone is important, but it's kind of your movie all together, but you're one of the part.
Yeah, it's an idea I had since I was a teenager, and it was just sitting in my notes app. And I think the hardest thing is starting something, because in your head there's so many possibilities, and like your taste level, I feel like, for films is so high because we're constantly watching films and reading things, but you kind of don't have that skill to match it. So it's like your skill is here, and then what you want to make is up here. And so I would always put off making stuff because I thought, well, it's so much better in my head, and I'm scared to actually make it into something and for it to kind of not get to where I want it to be. And so I had it in my notes app for ages and ages. And then in our final year, we had to make our grad film. And I was talking to my friend Phoebe. I was just going through my notes app and it was at the top. And she turned to me and she was like, why aren't we making this film? Why are we trying to come up with a film idea when you have this one? And I was like, oh, it's scary to kind of, I don't even know where to start. And so definitely she tries to give all the credit to me. There'd be no film without Phoebe David. There wouldn't be one, because she really pushed me. And then we were able to find these great writers and we could sit down and I just wrote everything down and we were able to, like, you know, formulate it and reorganize it into a story. And now that I've graduated, I feel like I'm in the same spot again where I still have ideas, but it's so scary to actually start it. And like to actually get into it.
It's the worst feeling.
I thought once I did Wildfire, it would be, you know, I'd be like, oh, well, we're getting closer and closer and you're getting more and more skill. And you look back and think, well, I made Wildfire, so I should be able to start another one. But it's still, like, really daunting sometimes to think, where do I start? And, like, actually make yourself start is really scary.
I absolutely understand you because I have the same problem. Like, I've been shooting the movie recently that soon gonna came out, and I think I wrote the script like 2 or more years ago, and I was so scared to sometimes even show it to someone. I was like, no, it's bad, it's terrible, and I don't know, then I was like, well, if I'm gonna continue like that, it's never gonna become a movie, so I need to do something with it.
finding it, working on it?
What?
How has it been going working on it?
Well, it was kind of stressful. It's really, really small. But the most stressful thing for me was that we had only one day of shooting because the location where we've been cost so much. And it was no possibility to shoot more than one day, unfortunately. Yes, but happily there is no big scenes, so it was kind of easy to film it. But I think I remember this day because I was so at the same time so happy and so excited about everything, but at the same time I was so stressful that I think I haven't even drink just water through the whole day, and then I came home and oh wait, it's unhealthy.
Because you get so caught up in it. I was exactly the same. You don't realize you feel fine, and then as soon as I feel so sick and
yes, I remember coming home and my mom was like, everything is okay, how are you? And I'm like, Mom.
I see, as soon as I'd open my door, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. But so I'm really happy that we done it, because I don't know. Soon, now we are doing editing with my friend, and I'm still been really nervous. But still, I think oh wait, soon I gonna have a movie.
I feel like you always have to tell yourself that, because I would get so nervous and scared, and you have to think, well, when you're younger, you dream of making a film, you've made a film, and you have to remind yourself you've done the big thing. But even still, with Wildfire, I get nervous as well. But now we're getting closer and closer to it being completely done. I'm like, oh, that means now it's the next thing. People have to watch it, and it's kind of out of your hands now. It's out for people to watch, and it's I don't know. It's very, I can't think of the word, but I feel for artists and people who make things, you are just putting yourself on a screen or on a canvas. It's very personal. So I think that's why it can get so scary, especially you said with your script and being scared to show it to people, because it's this is something I've worked really hard on, and it's very much personal. And I think no matter what you make, even if you're making a horror film or a huge sci-fi that you think has nothing to do with you, while you're making it, you realize, oh, this character is a lot like me, and oh, this is a lot like me. And it becomes so personal that I think it's scary that now suddenly it's this personal thing that's been in here is now out, and people can watch it and say it's awful. It's scary, and I don't know, I just wish one day I could just put it to the back of my mind and be I'm making this and I like it, and that's the main thing.
I think it's kind of impossible.
No, I think it's always just that cycle of this is scary, but I made a film, and it's going around all the time.
Yes, because I know few super popular people who it's a few Russian directors who doing art house movies, and I think a lot of people who doing super strange movies have the same. They don't care. They really don't care. They just doing a movie that they like, and I'm like, how you doing it? I'm so scared.
It's so scary. Yeah. I feel sometimes it can be scary also to make something that you think is a bit different. Yeah. So I think with Wildfire, the fact that the virus isn't really clear what it is a bit different. And I remember some of my tutors would be what are all the signs and the symptoms, and you're not showing each stage. And it made me, I not doubt myself, but I was a lot oh, am I not making it properly? Because it's I'm not showing it all, and it's very confusing. And so I think sometimes when you're making something that's not meant to be clear, it can be a bit nerve-wracking, especially as someone who's studied film production. You get taught oh, you need to start like this, and you get taught certain ways. But I think the main part, if you want to, of filmmaking is knowing that and thinking, okay, but let's try this instead. Because with anything, it's art, so it doesn't, you can do whatever you want. Like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to follow a proper structure and there's no rules. But I think once you start to make anything that's slightly different, you think, oh, does that not make sense because I didn't do this little thing and stuff?
Well, girl, like, come on. There's so many new viruses. Like, you can say it's just a new virus and everybody gonna believe, because I stopped understanding after COVID all the viruses are the same for me.
What's going on? No one knows what's happening. So
yes. So I think it's normal if in your post-apocalypse movie with virus, nobody gonna know what the virus is as now.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, during real life. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of in post-apocalypses now, so
it's the after times, and we don't know what's going on.
Yes. But though, if like coming back to the movie theme, I think like through COVID is like was game changing for the industry a lot, especially with Netflix and shows. Because now, as I see, unfortunately, sometimes more people are more interested in what's going on Netflix than what's going on in movie theaters.
Yeah, definitely, because people couldn't go to cinemas and stuff, so it was all a lot of streaming. And I think it's good and bad. I think it's good that people can watch things from their homes, but there was a period where I feel like nothing was coming out in the cinema, and it was all like, yeah, straight to Netflix and streaming and stuff like that. And I think now we're getting back into kind of moving away from Netflix and like bigger films coming out in the cinema and stuff now.
But so like I see a lot, like for example, my dad, he really like watching new movies. But before he was like, we're going to the cinema. Like a new movie came out, we're going to the cinema. And now he's like, no, we can wait. Like soon it's gonna be on our phones and our iPods, TV. So we're gonna wait. And I'm like, no, it's on the cinema. Come on.
I know. I feel like I was like that for a while as well. And I thought, well, it will, in a few months, it'll be out on something and we can watch it. And now I've really gotten back into going to the cinema again. And I forgot how fun it is, especially like going by yourself to the cinema.
Yes.
So fun. Like, I love it. And there was a little gap when I graduated, but I hadn't moved home yet. And where I went to uni, like, I could walk to the cinema. It was like a 10-minute walk. I was going every day. Something every day. And it's so fun. I feel
true.
Like, yeah, it's not just going to watch a film, it's like this whole event and this whole fun thing to go out and do.
Yes.
I'm so glad I'm getting back into it because I missed it.
I remember watching Challengers. I was alone and there was like 2 other people in the cinema. And they were just sitting most of the time just like that. Nothing going on. And I was like every time like and I think I was so emotional. I remember even some man, he like got torn to me and like no, it's not me, it's some other people.
I was so into Challengers. I saw it in the cinema as well. And I was just sat forward the whole time, like watching. I went with a friend and we forgot each other were there. So we were so locked into the film. But ours is really quiet as well. There's only a few people too.
Yes. So I think, I don't know, I hope the culture to go to the cinema theaters gonna come back for everyone. Because it's really cool.
I know. I think it is getting bigger now, especially recently with the new Deadpool film.
Yes.
And I watched that twice. I think I went during its first week and the cinema was full, and then I went a month after and it was still packed full of people, and I was like, cinema, we're so back, we're all back.
Yes.
And and Fall Guy as well, like that was so popular. I think now people making like kind of these really big kind of epic films, everyone wants to go watch it. I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
Like together experiencing these films.
Yeah, I think I don't know, for past years, like I think the same been last year just once when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out, but before there was no such a popular movies, and after 2 like not so popular, now movie after movie and everyone is going like yes.
Yeah, and I think it was like Barbie and Oppenheimer really brought that back. People were so excited. I went and saw Barbie the day it came out, and people were all in pink. Like, it was so cute.
Yeah.
And then people dressed for Oppenheimer. And I think since then, everyone's like, is really back to going to cinema and it being a whole occasion that people get really excited for, when people dress up for it. Like, see on TikTok, people like dress up and go. I think it's really cute. I think it's really nice.
Yeah, I recently saw, I was in a plane and there was two people who together on two screens they were watching Oppenheimer. I was like, that's not what Christopher Nolan gonna like.
Wow, imagine watching Oppenheimer on the plane.
Yes. I personally, I can't watch serious movies on a plane. Like, it's so hard.
I can't. I think one time, I don't remember what I watched, but I was younger. I watched this really sad film on the plane, and they bring round breakfast, and they're like, "Do you want orange juice?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." I think you just have to watch fun stuff on the film.
Yes.
Once it gets, it's too tense.
I always like comedies. Like now, we're the most stupidest comedies. I'm in. But about like Wildfire, you're going to festivals, but is there gonna be like, for example, as like I know a few festivals that it's kind of like a premiere, or it's just you're gonna send them on festivals and then some jury gonna watch it?
So I think we'll submit to some festivals. I think depending on how, if it gets accepted or not, we'll see what we'll do. But I definitely would, once it's done all that, like to put it on YouTube. And we were hoping to do like a screening before we graduate, but it wasn't finished in time. But I think it's going to be nice. But yeah, if it gets into a festival, that will be its premiere. So if it gets shown there, which will be really cool. We had a little grad film screening at uni, but it wasn't finished yet, so I don't count it. It was not ready. So yeah, if it gets such into a festival where they do screenings, that will be the first time it will be shown to a huge group of people.
So you would like to show it on a big screen for people and not just YouTube?
I would like to, yeah. I would like to. I think it would be cool. Or even just like I would love for us to get into a festival that's easy for the cast and crew to get to, and then for it to be screened there so it can be like a nice proper screening for us all to see it. Because so many people helped and people traveled to come help us make it, which was crazy. Like, they saw us on TikTok and Instagram and they'd message me and be like, "Oh, I love this. Can I come help? Like, I'm on the other side of the country, but can I come?" And I'm like, yeah, you can come. So it'd be really nice if we could like all get back together again and watch it. And I think the easiest way would be if we got accepted into a festival. But it would be nice to put together a screening. And then after that, YouTube or something. But probably screening would be cool. Like, maybe we should arrange that, a little screening.
Well, as a person in like other country, I really hope it's gonna come out on YouTube soon, because I'm so interested to watch it. I think it's...
Yeah, either way, it'll be on YouTube. It'll be YouTube eventually. It'll be there.
Because, I don't know, I think it's my favorite to watch different people's short movies on YouTube, because I see so many creativity there. I have never, like, done it before, and now, like, wow.
And people can do so much.
Yes.
It's really cool. Even on TikTok, I see people make short films on TikTok. And I'm like, how are you doing this? And I have amazing special effects, VFX. And I just think... I think this generation is very talented and very impressive.
Yes.
And I think step my game up.
I think it's because like of the internet, like as we've been talking about everything everywhere all at once, people can just learning from the YouTube, for example, and it's so much easier, because before you needed like some book or knowing some people who know how to do it, and now you just can find a video and you're gonna understand everything, or you just find some article in Google on something.
Yeah.
So it's easier to learn.
I think it's amazing how accessible it is. And even when I was talking about VFX with Wildfire before, our editor, he hadn't done VFX before and he hadn't done those certain effects. And he had help from the uni, but also he looked at a lot of tutorials. And I couldn't believe that he could just like learn that in a week. I think it's really great, especially a lot of people, it can be difficult to like get into like special like proper film schools or even to do a film course. And not everyone is able to have those opportunities. So I think it's great that you can go on YouTube, Google, you can go on TikTok, and you can learn how to do all these things. I think it's really great.
Yeah, I think as I don't go to film school, and now I'm in uni, but still it's not a film school. But with everything like YouTube and TikTok, it's so much easier for me because I literally have been knowing so much, and I'm so happy to have this opportunity. Because the same I think with all the different like artistic jobs that now it's not the most important to find the people who know it like and know them personally, so they would show you how to do it. It's important to just see like some video on TikTok, for example, and maybe learn some little hack for your job.
Yeah, because you think some of the most famous filmmakers didn't go to film school. It's all about just making. And so being able to find those things online can help people just go out and make stuff. And I think especially with social media, you can network so well. Like, we met each other on social media. I've met like a lot of great filmmakers on social media. I think it's just, I think it can be a really great space for creators to meet people from all over the place and to collaborate and help each other with those things.
Yes, I absolutely agree, because I think we've been talking for my like past 2 episodes, we've been talking about it a lot, how easy to find new people in social medias, because I think like before I started the podcast, I too had an idea for such a long time, and I was scared that I won't have a guest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been started to search a lot, and I'm like, well, maybe I will like text this person, maybe they will want and we'll have an episode together. And now I like have more and more people who text me like, oh yeah, I would like to be a part of the podcast. I'm like, oh, it's so exciting. And this, I think like the same with the movie. For you can like find the auditory for the movie just by social medias.
I know, it's really cool. And I think especially women our age in the industry are so nice. Like, everyone I've met, everyone I've reached out to, like people who follow me and who I followed, everyone is so nice and is always willing to help you.
Yes.
And even just like to vent to each other. If they ask you how things are going, if you need advice on anything, everyone is so nice. I think it's really nice seeing how supportive, like all filmmakers, but especially I think young female filmmakers are like some of the nicest people I've ever met.
You know, girls help girls. Like,
yes, multiple girls.
I for me it's like the most exciting part in this like community, because I don't know, like the scares, my scares are not disappear, of course, but I've become more and more confident about what I'm doing just by the respect that I see from other girls, and it's so important for me.
Yeah, definitely. And even like I was talking to my friends about this, and at first I was like, what do I have to talk about on a podcast? I'm like, what do I have to say? But like through speaking to you and them more, it's just nice to get to know each other and to network and to support each other. It's really nice. And especially on Wildfire, we had a great mix of people on our crew, but we had a lot of women who would message us from seeing an Instagram post, and they'd be like, I really love this idea. Can I do anything to help? And it's just been amazing. Like our composer, she reached out to us, and we had a lot of great camera trainees and people coming. And the whole time I was really surprised. So I was thinking, I don't know if it's like the imposter syndrome again. I was like, you want to help me? Like, you want to help me? You want to like talk to me? And it's just nice. And so now I try as much as I can to do that for other people. When I see like people working on things, I'm like, is there anything I can do? Do you even need me to just like repost something, or can I like, anything? And people are always willing to just help you. I think it's really nice because
Yes.
I think it can feel, or filmmaking can like, I can't think of the word, can be shown to be like a little competitive, or it can feel like it's competitive. And after graduating, it's been really nice to see that it's not really. Everyone is very kind and everyone wants to like help work together and push each other up. That was the main thing I was really nervous about. I was like, I feel like sometimes at uni people can be a bit competitive about making things, and I was like, I just want us to like all make a movie. And it's so nice to see everyone just be nice. Like I said, nice 100 times, but everyone's really
No, you're absolutely right, because I think in this industry it's so important to not be competitive with each other, but to help each other and be together, because it's so hard. Like, and if people really understand how hard it is to work there, they gonna be really nice and gonna do everything to help you. And if they think like it's easy, like I don't know, this, I think it's a lot with people who just want to be popular. They are really competitive, and it's not right. It's not gonna help them become popular.
Especially, it's important to have that support as well, making things that are really true to you. Because not only can it be difficult to just get equipment and find locations, it can be a lot like emotionally, I feel like, to like we talk about having that confidence to keep going. And so it's so important to have that support around you of people that build you up.
Yes, absolutely, because I'm not saying that our job is like, I don't know, surgeons or firemen. Of course, they have a harder job. But emotionally, it's too very, very hard. Like the confidence. Even because I think I'm kind of a confident person, but every time I start to do some artistic project, like I become very, very shy. And I don't know why, but it's just happening, so it's emotionally hard.
Yeah, especially like I said, to put yourself out there in your projects, but also to push yourself to keep going, because it's a lot. You have to be very determined, and it can be really difficult to push yourself through that and to think, because you have to believe in yourself 100% to be able to do it. And sometimes you can think, well, why should I make a film? Why I should just, why should I do this? And it's not really the traditional kind of career to go into. And you just have to believe in yourself and push yourself, because no one's going to create opportunities for you. And it can be difficult to have that mentality to be like, well, I believe in myself and I'm going to try. And there's like, it's like a lot of anxiety that comes with that, because you have to put yourself in completely new situations and try new things. And even if you're working on one film, every day on set is different. And it's a lot of skills you need to build and have that confidence to think, well, I can figure it out. And like, I can get there. So it's like you said, we're not doing anything groundbreaking and we're not saving lives. But it's like, and it's nice to think that maybe someone could watch it and think, oh, finally I have some representation of someone who looks like me or someone who thinks like me. And sometimes I have to use that to keep me going, to think it doesn't matter like if only 5 people watch it, if one person sees it and thinks, wow, that character is so much like me and I feel like I can see myself on screen. I think that's the most important thing. You have to push yourself forward thinking like that.
I personally think maybe it's stupid, but still, books and movies are actually helping us to learn something about life without having the same experience. Because we can see in some character, we can see ourselves, and then something happened with this character, and we're like, oh, so that's what can happen after. and that teach us a lot.
Yeah, I think that's why representation is so important in films. Because like you said, you can get that connection. It doesn't matter what the person looks like or their background. If you can find that connection with them, you can get so much empathy. And so reading books and watching films about people who are different from you, I think shows you actually how similar we are. I think that's a really important part of art and the creative industry.
Yes. I think it's like that's why, I don't know, the same like test, when you want to know which character you are. And it's like, I remember hearing like it's stupid to promote movie and why are we like doing this test, and like, yes, well, we're doing this test, but and it's kind of stupid because test's stupid, but you want to know that you exactly some characters that you love and not other character.
Exactly, but you want that connection, you want to see yourself.
So it's really are important.
Yeah.
But in wildlife, do you see in some of the characters yourself?
Yeah. I see a lot. It's weird because originally when we were doing Wildfire, Jen was more me, and in the script she was written as Immy because it was just easy. And so I think what surprised me so much is how much I was also in Bella as well. And definitely like every part of me is in it in some kind of way. And I think that was a weird thing when I watched the film. It's like kind of weird closure I get from parts of my life that I didn't think I needed it from. And seeing parts of myself, and I would think, why is this character acting like this? Like, don't they understand this person's trying to help them? And I'm like, oh, that's me. Oh, I need to go on this arc as well. And so even like background characters that you don't really think you're paying too much attention to, I think always if you're creating something, you were in everything, like in little pieces. And I think it surprised me to see how much I was in it, and I had to take a little step back and be like, whoa, this is like really personal.
Yeah, it's true. I think like when I've been writing a script for my short film, firstly I think I wrote it, I then changed it a lot, of course, and changed it like, well, I've been waiting for 2 years. But when I wrote it for like, I think an hour. It was so fun for me and exciting. And firstly, I was like, I'm not kind of connected with the story. I'm connected, but me, like as a person, I think it's really fun story. I think it's a cool comedy, but I don't see something that I see in a life. And then for past 2 years, I was like, wait, it is everything about my life and my experience.
It's especially as you like develop stuff.
Yeah.
So I think develop the script, obviously the characters become more their own, but you also see, I think with time, how much is close to you. Because people say like you make what you know, you write what you know. I think even if you're not doing it on purpose,
yeah.
Because how else? I feel like how else do you know what to write about? Like I think even little ideas I've written down that seem really random, you can kind of tell what point of your life you're in when you wrote it, because there's one little thing that's specific from it. And so with Wildfire, they're similar to me, but they're not, because I had the idea when I was a teenager, when I was like 17. And so it's very much a lot of me then, like merged with me now. So it's been really interesting to watch. And yeah, I just find that weird when you like look back at your own projects and you start to finally, after months or years, you see how it's like you, and it feels really weird.
Well, I think I have a really important question. Do you think that this little girl who wrote this story on her notes would be proud and happy about you now?
Emotional. I definitely would. She would, because Wildfire, which before obviously didn't have a name back then, was I think it was the first film idea I had before I even really knew if I was going to make films, and I didn't know I wanted to direct. And so I think if she could see now that not only did I even think, oh, maybe this could be a film, but actually made it, I think she'd think it was really cool. I think she'd be really proud. And I think she would say to me, you just need to chill out. Like, you're doing the thing, you're doing the dream. And you need to stop getting so stressed out and caught up over little things. And like, who cares if one scene wasn't how you imagined it? Who cares if like you're scared to like message someone about an opportunity? So I think she'd think I'm cool, but I think she'd also tell me to like grow up a bit, to be more confident, to be a bit more fearless. But I think she'd be really proud of it, and she would want to be watching it as well. So I need to get it out enough on YouTube so she can see it.
It's so cool and so cute, actually. Well, I think it's kind of all the questions I wanted to ask.
Like, comment below and subscribe for more. Love you guys.